To really grasp and understand this debate, we really just need to put it in perspective. We're talking about a difference of about 3% for people making over $250,000 a year. That amount for the wealthy is really not that much for the attention it's been getting. The income tax rate for that bracket is actually less than half of what it used to be. During FDR's administration, it was close to 91%. So why all the noise? The reason is that this isn't really about that 3%. It's about the principle behind it. It's about the centuries-old American tradition of keeping the rich rich and the poor poor. Now, I know a lot of your parents tell you, and I know because I hear this all the time, that the reason that the rich are rich is because they just work harder and, the poor have had all the same opportunities and have just been too lazy to capitalize. The rich had to climb up from the depths of poverty using honest and respectable work to get where they are now. That theory is actually called social Darwinism, created in the 1800s to justify the large disparity between the rich and poor in this country. This theory has been laughed at by every respectable economist since then. But still, I hear from people these defensive, contrived questions. Why should we punish success? Why should we take more and more away from the people who have earned and deserve that money? But this brings us to the point of, how can you even earn or deserve $5 or $10 million a year when the guy who made your t-shirt, the little girl that made your Nikes, the teenager who picked your strawberries, and the immigrants that mow your lawn make less than minimum wage? But the rich work hard too, you insist. Now, I'm not saying that the rich don't work hard, because it takes quite an amount of energy to keep such a large percentage of the population so poor and so peaceful for so long. I don't mean to suggest a conspiracy in the Hollywood sense of the term, but just because there weren't a bunch of people sitting in a back room smoking cigars and thinking about how to oppress the poor doesn't mean that the policies that they have advocated haven't had the same effect. An example of these oppressive policies is our current tax system. Historically, when we need to fund social programs, we raise taxes on the middle class. Now, why would we do that? We do that so the middle class becomes resentful of the poor for raising their taxes. Divide and conquer. The Reagan administration even purposefully ran up the deficit so they could have an excuse to cut social programs beneficial to the poor. And that's a quote from their budget secretary at the time. And we see the same thing happening today. Advocates for the Bush tax cuts will tell you that the top 1% pays over 30% of the taxes, but they won't tell you that they own about 40% of the wealth. They don't even pay their fair share. The bottom 80% only owns 15% of the wealth. So the next time someone whines to you about the deficit, ask them why on earth they're cutting benefits for teachers, police, and firefighters, while the reckless, incompetent parasites in the banks and on Wall Street who created the worst recession since the Great Depression get to keep their tax breaks. But hopefully you'll know the answer. Fox News wants to talk about how the Democrats are promoting class warfare, but I think we all know that that's a joke. I wish they were promoting class warfare, or at least class awareness, because that may just be what needs to happen for the poor people in this country to rise up and demand their rights as human beings. Thank you.